I don't think that
factually, we know Maduro is working with the U.S. government. We know that for facts.
Hold on. So KT, so if we have somebody that's in the CIA that is allowing him to do it, right? We understand he worked for the U.S. government, but that doesn't mean the government is allowing that U.S. agent to do that criminality. Those are two different things.
No, you're talking about them turning a blind eye. So
wait,
hold on. I'm very specific about what I'm saying. The issue that we are having is that if Maduro is selling it, you're saying the government, you're saying Donald Trump knows that Maduro is doing it because Donald Trump and the U.S. government is all in cahoots with it, rather than saying that it is somebody that have a position of power within the U.S. government is allowing him to do it. Those are two different things.
Well, Sharon, I think the issue here is that we're talking about the small fish.
Before you try to help KT, to give an example of what Sharon is saying, if I'm not mistaken, during the Iraq and Iran war, the CIA was helping fund Iran while the State Department was backing Iraq, and neither of them knew what was actually happening.
Right. Bingo.
And even under Reagan, Congress was voting one way and saying one thing while the CIA was doing something behind their back. So the government is not just one entity. Everybody is on the same page. It's much more nuanced than that, and that is what I think Sharon is saying.
No,
that
I think
there might
y'all
be
just
people.
Kinda,
all right, dude.
You know that.
I think y'all kind of just skipping the point I'm saying.
All that stuff was illegal.
It depends on what's the current state and what you could do for me, I could do for you. It's all just current. And sometimes people be going past their little breaches of what their agreements be because you know what I mean. It's all it is, bro.
Okay, because like if we could just make it an understanding that do we believe that the U.S. government, everybody in the government was like, yeah, we're gonna give $9 billion away to these daycares, or did they find people that was within the government that say, yeah, we're gonna scam out this $9 billion that the government has.
Those are and that's what I'm saying. Nobody ever made that conversation. The whole government was there. Like I said, I pointed out one specific point, which is the CIA. No, I didn't. I said the CIA, and the presidents and them know about it now. So my point is that they already know they've done fucked up shit. Why would you even keep the thing doing the shit?
Right. So that is insinuating. So again, what you're saying,
my argument is a lot more nuanced than what you can even deal with.
Come on. Absolutely.
Let me give you an example. Let's see people saying.
Bro, we already know I was doing you dirty yesterday on this same topic, Taz. Let's not do that.
Well, no. What we're not going to do is just come to another platform and pretend like just because you got a bunch of people in agreement, you doing me dirty. Let's deal with facts, like y'all couldn't do yesterday. So again,
you was there when people was agreeing with KT.
Absolutely not.
He said it happens. He says it happens.
He's absolutely not.
KT was riding the wave of people that agree with him.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
I don't have an issue.
No, he's lying because I was making comments.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna get back to the conversation. It's okay. We're gonna get back to the conversation. Go ahead. Come on. I don't want to talk about. Let's get back to. Yeah, let's just get back to the conversation. Go ahead, go finish substantiating so we can just have the conversation.
So one of the foundational points I was making yesterday was about his wife's nephews, right? Because she is on the indictment. His Maduro's on the indictment, his wife and their son, right? Absolutely. So in 2017, her nephews got caught transporting 800 keys. The U.S. Department of Justice snatches them. They hold them. They go and give a confidential interview in which they tell the DEA that they are running this for Maduro. So that happened in 2017. He gets indicted in 2020 for this. If you acting like it ain't no evidence, you're ignoring the evidence because people have already been caught. They've already told on him. The question is, how would you get him? I'm arguing that's the only way to get him. The indictment was sitting 6 years. The warrant sat 6 years. So when do you get him? Again, I'm just asking. He's going to be got. He's caught. His people telling on him. They snitched on him. So he's got to get caught. When does he get caught? Or does he not get
2017 when they just pulled him over and admitted we doing this for Maduro.
But they couldn't go get it. Wait, no. They couldn't go get him back.
Hold on. Let him build this.
No, y'all literally saying the reason he's getting brought over.
Hold on, KT. Hold on. KT, get back to your original argument. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all saying that he was 12 miles out from the coast, but y'all literally pointing out in 2017, what Tad just pointed out, a nigga in 2017 got caught in America with hella work and said this Maduro shit. So the same basis y'all saying, well, this is why we finally went and got him. That was already established years ago, and that's all I'm pointing out. Because when we talk about the indictments, they bring up the 90s. So they've had evidence since the 90s. All I'm saying is we are knowing and admitting these niggas knew what was going on. They was turning the blind eye for some reason.
Hold on, KT.
When did he lose the presidency?
Hold on. Stop asking questions. Y'all don't understand. Asking questions does not help. You gotta make statements. We ask questions, they just go and they just make up some other bullshit as excuse. Again, so if it's put out in 17 that we are putting an indictment on and there's a warrant on them. Just because it took us 6 years to get him doesn't mean that we was just saying, hey, just do whatever you want to do. He had a whole organization of situations. I mean, he had a government to back up all of his degenerate behavior and his criminal activity. He had an army behind him, literally. He had cartels behind him, literally. So we started blowing up their boats. We started gathering more information. As we gathered more information, we was getting closer to him. We put a bounty on his head now. And then he started to feel like he was bulletproof. He started talking shit, come and get us. And then that's when they was able to get enough intel. They found out exactly where he's at. And then this is why they went in the middle of the night and said, hey, this is the perfect time to get him because everything was perfect. The sky was perfect. It was clear, etc. And that's why they got him on the day that they got him.
Okay.
And in 2017, Maduro was still president.
Question, Sharon? I'm a little
listen. And even beyond that, I gotta point this out really quick. 99, he wasn't even the fucking president. 2013.
No, he was a state though.
Hold on. We understand Chavez we understand that. We know when he got president. You started to add in all these other things about.
No, I'm saying the indictment points up the 90s.
It's right? Okay. We don't have to get stuck on exactly when he was president. Hold on. The problem is you got to address what. Hold on. You got to be able to address what the GOAT said. Since 2010, he made a very specific argument. You need to attack that argument, not go away from what he was talking about.
It's not attacked. I already addressed it.
You did not.
You are literally saying that he was pulled over because now they found the information. What information changed?
Hold on, pause. Slow down.
They grabbed him because the information changed. What information got different?
Slow down, please. Who was pulled over?
I ain't mean to say pulled over. Snatched him up.
Who?
Maduro.
No, it was his nephew.
Hold on. Okay, so this is where the misunderstanding is. So no, Maduro was not the one that was captured.
I know his nephews were.
Hold on. He said it was the wives, nephews. They are the ones that is captured, and they the ones that started to snitch. They started to give you a record of what's going on. That's why they start finding the boats and such and such. So the people that they caught that is related to his wife started to snitch on him, and so therefore we was able to build a case. So now you go ahead. Now you can understand where we are in the conversation. Now you could talk towards that.
That's already what the answered that. I literally said when they pulled him. Yes, I did. I said when they pulled him and they started snitching, you have the evidence there. You have hella keys. You have literal evidence already there. You don't need 6 years. And even what you're talking about, where he had a military.
Okay, pause there. Don't move to another point. Don't move to another point. Hold on. Please. Hold on. Don't move to another point. Let's just stick on that point, please.
Yeah, because okay, so just with that point alone, the indictment does not come out till 2020. Trump loses the election. Biden becomes president. Now Trump is president again, and he goes and gets him. So if we're speaking in times of his administration, we're talking less than a year before he's executing this warrant in terms of him in his administration, because it came out in 2020 at the end of his administration. And if you add in this administration, then yes, that end of his plus the beginning of this one would give you about a year, and he got him in a year of his time. I don't understand what you're saying.
Basically. And we're ignoring the fact that it just got unsealed.
I gotta let people finish.
But we gotta also create the fact. Remember, we're talking about the 12 nautical miles. 12 nautical miles is U.S. territory from its base. So there is a thing in the clause that ships can pass, but people that are bringing in drugs and all of that, it's illegal from in that range. But they are alleging that he successfully transported thousands to America, though. But just once you get in that jurisdiction, that's a crime in itself.
Already.
That's what I'm saying. So can I ask? Are we when they started? Correct me if I'm wrong. They said he's been doing this shit since '99. So
let me respond to that. Yeah, let me respond to that. Please, let me respond to that. So look, what they did, because this is why I'm saying when you make the CIA argument, understand it. What the CIA was doing was literally allowing him to position himself from way back then when he was just the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They walked him up in the indictment through his positions all of these years from 99, showing he was involved in cocaine all of those years. I'm giving you the CIA argument, but I'm telling you that's why he booked. I'm trying to give you the argument that, yes, they let him do it. Yes. So that means they got this motherfucker on tape, on audio, on video, and every other piece of evidence necessary. Why are you defending him?
I'm not defending him. I'm literally saying, I know they do. Point out, if y'all say it from the beginning,
you want to believe that.
No, listen, y'all say
want to believe it. You have no proof of it. You want to believe it. This administration has lied to you several times, and you keep wanting to believe them over and over again.
So hold on. Are we saying that the government do not allow you to do crime until they got enough evidence of video, audio, and all these other things so they could make sure they could pin you in court? Are we saying the government don't do that?
Yes,
man, I'm saying the government allows you to be arrested.
Hold on. I just want clarity about what we are saying, please. So
this government will allow you to be arrested without that.
Yes or no? When they are building a case on you, do they allow you to do enough crime so they could pin it on you? Yes or no, Detroit?
Yes.
Oh my God.
The feds. Yes.
They absolutely will in the feds. That's how the feds work.
So now when we are having that understanding, KT, why you keep saying they allowed it when they was allowing him to do it so they can arrest him and have undeniable evidence to lock him up or put him away forever? Go.
Okay, so that's what I'm questioning. Maybe y'all
facilitated.
Exactly, and this is the further thing I'm pointing out is what changed the evidence, y'all. Because typically a federal case don't take 30 years of evidence. If y'all saying in the 90s y'all can prove the nigga already had, y'all ain't getting no more evidence like that. What y'all gained more snitches? Y'all already had snitches. Y'all already had the proof he was in the country doing it. So this is all I'm saying. If they have the proof and admitting they had the proof, even before this man was president.
Hold on. So when we catch snitches and they say Detroit is the leader of the CMB, as soon as that snitch say that, then therefore we can arrest Detroit. Is that what you're saying, KT?
No, but if somebody else
so pause. Okay, so you're saying no. So therefore they have to build up the case to make sure that
all you need is two
witnesses. Hold on. So again,
screaming.
Right, because you got to stop cutting me off because I want clarity about what you are trying to argue because it's not clear. So now that somebody snitched on Detroit, are we not going to allow them to keep on operating so we can get the proper hands-on, caught red-handed evidence? Is that a true statement? Yes or no?
No.
Ron, can I please say something?
There's plenty of people so you tell me people are literally locked up and arrested and they don't even have evidence like that.
In the feds, hearsay is admissible.
Bro, we're talking about the federal.
No, even the feds.
Hold on.
Most people are going to snitch on themselves, correct?
Slow down.
They're going to take a plea deal.
It's okay. Go ahead, Mr. Work, and we get back to KT in this nonsense. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say the framing is kind of disingenuous.
This shit's crazy.
They allowed it, but one of the charges against Maduro was drug trafficking, right? Yes. Is that accurate? Okay. Correct. The DEA literally gave the cartel weapons that they ended up, quote unquote, losing track of, and the cartel was then trafficking those weapons. Like the U.S. government just didn't allow this stuff to happen. It helped them. There's a difference in that. But I wanted to say something because I feel like the disconnect is that now we're back on the fact that it's actually about the drug or drug trafficking. Before we were talking about how it was about the oil. So it's kind of conflicting. Do you think they actually arrested Maduro for drug trafficking? Or do you think it was a geopolitical oil situation?
Okay, so now, this
it was the drugs.
I don't understand why we not understand. So they arrest them for the drugs, but that allows them to go inside the country and take advantage of those situations that they have. So it's a win-win for the country. And so again, undercover, when you ever deal with an undercover, they assist you. They literally assist you to lock yourself up. That's literally their job.
Right.
They would go buy it for you. They would go and fight with you. They would go and shoot guns with you. They would do everything to make you believe that that person is 100% on your side. Until one day, hold on. And then one day, you are with your hands behind your back and saying, you ain't no cop Reed.
Okay, so you're arguing that this is just a sting operation, like the last 30 years wasn't them working with them when we have proof of them working with Maduro. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just confused about this.
I'm trying to fucking clarify it.
Frank Lucas wasn't working with the government before he got caught.
Can you please?
Exactly.
This shit's crazy.
So that's what we are saying, that yes, it was all, once we found out what he was doing, we had to build the case, because when you're dealing with somebody that is in the political world, it is not so easy just because somebody said you did it to actually prove in the court of law that you are actually 100% behind it. You have a lot of places to hide behind when you have a whole political country and an army literally behind you.
So that's what I'm saying. So y'all saying this was a sting operation. So if this is the case, I'm just asking, where do we have a 30-year sting operation? Also, where do we have a sting where it's like people in America, right? Drug dealers. I'm gonna give this.
I give it to you. Don't run on. Please, just don't run on. I'll give you that example.
Yes.
So
Chapo.
Do you realize that? No, they was looking for El Chapo in the 90s. They couldn't find him, right? So I mean, but that's another one of them examples. But if you looking back.
Wasn't Chapo working with the American government?
Hold on, KT. Let him give you the example. Relax.
Wasn't Chapo working with the American government?
Let him give you the example.
So I'll address that point too. Okay, so look,
this is the example before y'all just interrupt.
This is what you're doing, though. You're not looking at your example. Within your example, I can give you a man by the name of Barry Seal. Do you know who that is?
That's what I was thinking about.
Go ahead.
Okay, Barry Seal was working with the CIA, flying in cocaine, never stopped him from getting charged. Literally working directly with the CIA, working with the feds. They got up with him, killed him when he was in the halfway house. Bin Laden, that's your example of a 30-year operation. That shit started in the 1970s.
Nobody asked. That's what I'm saying. Hold up. Y'all got it wrong. I'm not done yet, but for just a 30-year operation.
Just let me finish.
No, because I'm asking y'all who wasn't working with the government, because this is what Sharon's proposing, and y'all trying to make it seem like, oh, the feds just work with you to get information and then they lock you up.
They do that as well. That is part of their modus operandi. But again, let's continue. Freeway Ricky Ross, they were supplying that man with dope. Then they decided the day they wanted to get him. Why are you shaking your head, Detroit? You act like I'm lying.
Because you're bringing up street politics, and some of this stuff on a geopolitical level is over the head of what you're talking about.
Right. So cool.
Okay, then let's talk about street.
Fam, please. I got a whole list of names here that I have for myself. What about Jeff Fort? Do you know who Jeff Fort is?
Explain to us. Teach us.
No, the niggas in Chicago, right? Wasn't for
yes. Yes, the government literally claimed that he was working with Libya to do something in the United States to Libya. So again, I would just like to see y'all extend some of this grace to black people. Where's the grace? Where's the grace for black people that y'all extend? Because again, they got the man on the record for multiple kilograms of cocaine. Detroit Coalition, you talking like you don't believe him? Put your money up. Bet 500 that they got the proof and he gets convicted.
Absolutely. First off, let me since you called me out and I ain't say nothing about you, let me address that really quick here.
What could you say?
I'm not right. First off, I don't feel like I got to put my money up for nothing that got to do with this government shit at all. If you want to do that, that's on you. I wouldn't say that your point is more valid just because you put your own cash up. Let's say that first off. Secondly,
I would believe you. I would just believe you. I don't believe you.
Say it again.
I said I would believe you.
I know you don't believe me. That's understood. That's why we having this debate. But like putting this money up shit, I don't know where where that came in. Whatever. Okay. So as far as like, I get it. When we're talking about these cases and getting enough evidence to indict somebody on a case or whatever, you are absolutely correct. You need that evidence. Actually, the burden of proof is on the government whenever they're going to charge you with something. Correct. It is. To me, the way this is sounding is like we don't need no burden of proof at all. That's the part that is annoying to me. And it's like the same way that and I'm equating it to going into Iraq for WMDs, because there wasn't any evidence, just like I said, the U.S. intelligence itself last year came out with a report that said that there was no links to Maduro and Tren de Aragua, drug trafficking and stuff like that. That was just last year. That wasn't good enough for an administration that wants to go into Venezuela. It's not. And it's like, as long as it's the right colored person to go in here for, or the right so-called reason and stuff like that, it's okay to ignore laws, norms, and diplomacy. That's the part that is annoying me. It's not the outcome. If Maduro it was found of all this stuff, then yes, I absolutely would want him to be indicted and convicted. The evidence has not been lining up for this. And you add to that, the evidence not lining up to the way that Trump has worked in all these other situations where he's trying to pressure people into doing things. The reason why he got impeached his first time in office was because of what? Putting political pressure on Ukraine to pull some kind of investigation that would politically hurt one of his rivals. And now this same person, all of a sudden, this same administration that has definitely has a whole bunch of people that just are sycophants for Trump that work for him now, not people that are like professionals that would tell him you can't do this legally, you can't do that constitutionally. He has a whole bunch of sycophants around him now. Now, all of a sudden, I'm supposed to believe and trust this administration more when they've shown more lack of discernment.
Well, so again, when you mentioned that about Tren de Aragua, right? You do realize this indictment is from 6 years ago. It's from 2020. So it doesn't matter what you read in 2024. The indictment was already out showing the links. The links have been there, which is why you can go back to cocaine being caught up for the past 10 years from Venezuela and tied to Maduro. How do you ignore that part of it? That his own people are telling them, hey, they got caught trying to ship in 1.3 tons to France. They're telling on him. How do you ignore that part?
Everything you were saying could be true, but that was not the scope of why the U.S. have said they have gone into Venezuela. It's not. That's the cover. That's the cover. If that's the case, then why was oil even on Trump's mind at that press conference? Why?
I think y'all Trump does a great job of distracting y'all so y'all can say crazy shit.
No, see, man, listen, and that's what I was saying, Sharon. All these other times I came in here, I can smell a MAGA.
I
can smell it.
Is your issue more so?
I can smell and taste the smell of it too.
I can smell an LBGT Democrat. I can smell Democratic.
I'm independent, brother. I'm independent. So what you smelling? Your sense is off. Your senses are off.
Detroit, is your issue more so with the reasoning than the fact that it happened?
This shit is insane.
Oh, both of them are ill to me. I mean, both of them are ill because one, you're right. The sovereignty of a nation. Yes, I do think that that's wrong to go in there and snatch up a president for that. That's just been international law and norms for a long time. That's part of I think that's part of the Geneva Convention, if I'm not mistaken. But
but Detroit, he's not the president. You keep ignoring that.
You're saying he's not the president, and no. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying about him not being the president because the election was contested, right? Say it again.
I'm just trying to figure. I'm trying to hear you elaborate. I was trying to let you finish because I'm confused about if your issue is with the reasoning given, the main reasoning given, or if it's with the fact that we did it. Period.
The fact that we did it is my main issue. The reasoning, you know what I'm saying? I'm always going to question that reasoning, but I'm going to question the reasoning of any president. Let me say that and be clear. I don't care who the president is. I questioned Barack when he had Gaddafi assassinated. I questioned like while we were in Iraq in the first damn place. Why the fuck we in Iraq when Afghanistan was where Osama bin Laden was? I have all these questions. This is not Democrat or Republican. The fact that now keep in mind, when somebody start calling me all these Democratic names, that probably mean that they got offended that I called them out on maybe they MAGA hood, right? MAGA. Even though I'm an independent.
You call me MAGA.
Are you? No did you vote for Trump?
Can you just
no, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Who'd you vote for? Nobody. I voted for Kamala. Who'd you vote for? Then you have no concern in this conversation and talking about my politics. If you skipped an election, and you black,
relax, fam.
And black people had to die to get the right to vote, and you skipped an election.
Detroit,
I don't care which way you voted. Like don't question. Don't talk about my political anything when you sitting there on the sideline. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not on.
Don't quit.
Sideline.
Well, whatever you were, you ain't let your vote ring out. You know what I'm saying?
The reason why I did not want to vote for Kamala is
Taz, can he finish, please? Because he was. I feel like he was.
It was a protest vote, just like the Arabic community, right?
Y'all can get it.
You protest non-vote. And how that shit work out?
Did you not hearing AR?
What?
Did you not hear what I was responding to?
Listen, I'm gonna finish responding to AR because you stayed on the sidelines and now you want to sit here and cheerlead or dog out people for whatever and stuff. So AR, yes, on a international level, I don't believe in taking the sovereignty of any nation away from them. And regardless of how that election went, right, that is up for the people of that country to remove that political figure for that reason. Okay. Now, as far as like him, like these drug charges, stuff like that, no, I don't trust this administration that they actually telling the truth. No,
okay.
I don't.
Okay, so I think we're on the same page about the drug. I think the drug charges was really just the reason, the excuse they gave to do it. As for your first point about it's up to the people, if I'm not mistaken, 30% of Venezuelans have fled the country since 2013 or 2014. He didn't even have Venezuelans guarding him. He had imported Cubans because he didn't trust his military apparatus, and no U.S. troops personnel or not material, but like aircraft or anything was lost. So that means that the people around him and his military were paid off. Besides the Cubans that got killed, I think like 32 to 40 of them got killed. But there was a rumor that was from Russian special forces who tried to come and protect him. It doesn't matter. Anyway, point being is that no U.S. troops were lost. That doesn't happen unless the people around him are paid off and say, yeah, we don't want this dude around here. He was voted out last election. At what point does not necessarily the country lose their sovereignty, but the leader of a country lose their right to lead? And I know you're saying that, oh, well, the people should revolt. Well, the people did. That's why they voted him out, and that's why they left the country. And another country came in and was able to remove him from power and potentially give these people a voice again without a civil war. Because that's what happens usually when these things happen, pop off. You tell them to remove them themselves. Well, civil war happens, and you have bigger issues now than you had before. So we were able to do it with no lives lost, minus the Cubans and whatnot that were there, and that was minimal, 40 give or take. And so I think that, respectfully, I think you should be. I get your point about the drug stuff, but I actually think that you should be happy that it happened the way it did because less lives were lost. The people will probably have a voice again in their own politics. I don't trust Trump just like you don't, so I don't really trust him because you see he's like he didn't take out anybody but the president, so the whole apparatus that was helping the president is still there. I have my issues with that, but the point being is that this is the better way, in my opinion, than a civil war happening. I just don't see and on a geopolitical level, obviously I'm very pro USA, and on a geopolitical level with our rivals and our adversaries and our enemies wanting to utilize those around us, the countries around us, I don't see how this is a bad thing for the U.S. And I don't see how it's a bad thing for the Venezuelan people. If it was, you would have saw more fight back.
No, because it's hard for anyone to fight.
I'm actually talking to Detroit.
I get that, but I was already in the conversation.
That's okay. That's cool, but I'm addressing
really
Detroit.
Quick. All right. Yes, I'm just pointing out really quick. Like Libya, did that work out for Libya?
Talk about the topic.
We're talking about people getting overthrown, the government and working with them already. We're beyond that. That's all I'm pointing out.
No,
how does change come for people? If you're saying
adding nuances for no reason doesn't make sense. When we specifically talking about a very specific situation, please keep to the topic.
Yeah, okay. So if we're talking about Venezuela, as AR just pointed out, the people are still in control. The people who are in control have agreed that they will follow the U.S. government. So again, yes, they did. The vice president, I can't remember his name. He's literally even declared he will.
Well, it's a woman. It's a woman. First of all, and second of all, she just came out yesterday. That's what Trump and Rubio or someone in the U.S. administration was saying. But she came out on stand and said, we're going to fight back and they need to give our president back in X, Y, and Z. So whether she made some deals behind the scenes and is putting on a front for the country or not remains to be seen. But that's irrelevant because I'm talking to Detroit. So Detroit, do you agree or how do you feel about what I said?
That's very childish.
No, I to the point of not trusting Trump, I do agree with you on that. I would say that, like, I'm trying to think of examples and maybe I have to do some research here, but I just know that first off, the reasons why there is so much instability in Venezuela was U.S. influence originally. It was. Mm-hmm. It was all about that. It was about Exxon, right? And Exxon is a major company. Let me just not say them as the only company, but it was about Chavez.
Chevron
got in there and Chevron too. But I'm just thinking about like the leaders of the country at the time or whatever was trying to get these colonial imperialists out of the country and return the resources to the people. And if there wasn't so much money coming to the U.S. from Venezuela, the U.S. would not have gave a damn about Venezuela. That's what it was. But go ahead.
That's one. I don't think that's true. I think it's I'll just say this and then Ted, you can jump in. I disagree with that. I think it's more of a geopolitical thing than anything. It's not just about oil. I know people like to talk about, but I don't think that's the main reason. And two, I forgot.
And I'm talking about in the 90s when that first started. That's when I'm talking about that first push.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying that it was about colonialism, imperialism. Disagree as well. I don't think that was a reason. I think that's what these leaders, these populist leaders, like to come in and say, and then they do these policies, and none of that money is actually returned to the people. And Chavez transitioned to Maduro, same shit. The country has only gotten worse since those policies were put in place. So
I can agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay,
but it doesn't. But how do they get closer to the rights and privileges getting back to the people of Venezuela by us being in there, or us going down here and destabilize?
Well, because hopefully, I mean, if there was a competent administration, because I'm in agreement. I don't trust him at all. I don't think he's doing it for the right reasons and whatnot. But whether he's doing it for the right reasons or not, the outcome is still the same, which is that we now have a less adversarial country near our borders, and one that China cannot use. China just reported that they're hitting up their banks to say, hey, what exposure did you have to this country? Because there's reports that they've lent upwards of $80 billion, I think, or $90 billion to Venezuelan companies since then. So whether his reasoning for doing is different than mine, the outcome, in my opinion, is more or less the same. And so I'm going to support it until it turns south for that reason. But yeah, I think that a lot of people like to use the U.S. as a boogeyman and say anytime someone, becomes a leader in a certain country or whatever, and they paint the U.S. as a boogeyman, that the people support them and all this stuff. And a lot of times it's no different than what Trump does, which is paint boogeymen, and that's not even the real problem. It's LGBTQs are the problem. It's Hispanics are the problem. It's this, that, and the other. It's not him that's the problem. It's not his people that are the problem. It's everybody else. And you get the same thing with these foreign leaders coming in power. The U.S. is an easy boogeyman, and so they paint the U.S. as all the problems in the world for their country. And then they get into power and they suppress the people, they kill the people, they genocide the people, they stop elections when it's a democratic country, they don't listen to the voters, they do all these things to make the country worse off, but they're better off because they're a dictator and they have more power. So, I think that just like you believe that there should be more research into what Trump is saying, you immediately saying, oh, well, it's imperialism, colonialism, that's why the people wanted this, X, Y, and Z. I just think that that's not true. And I don't think the outcome, historically speaking, shows that to be the case. Every single time that happens, the country is worse off.
So here's what I don't get, right? when the feds went at Diddy, you didn't hear people say that's Trump going after Diddy.
Here we go to street shit again.
So when does it become Trump? When it's actually the DOJ? When does Trump get the credit?
There's no Department of Justice anymore, if I'm not mistaken. Second of all, I mean, you know, I was up there with you.
Huh?
I was saying, look, I ain't gonna make Diddy.
That nigiggas have to
I'm
say,
not gonna
bro.
say Diddy was guilty. You know what I'm saying? I said that from the beginning. So even
It's
down
not
to shit
about
like
him
that,
being
people
guilty.
were.
I mean, listen, fam. Nobody said he was
talking about
kidnapped.
people-
Nobody said he was kidnapped. Nobody looks at the feds arresting somebody and say, man, they just kidnapped him. Lil Durk locked up right now. Have any of y'all said he's kidnapped?
Who, Durk?
You know what I'm saying? This is something you're extending to this Venezuelan dude, and you're asking for evidence you ain't never even asked for before now.
Thank you.
Because when you are, this is international law. Because international law is different than local laws.
And y'all compare fucking rappers to fucking leaders of worlds. Like that's wild, nasty work.
Well, okay, so
he was not a leader of the world at the time.
I'm talking about the feds.
Okay. We don't need everybody to jump in. Please let people have their conversations. Go ahead, go.
Because I just need, I'm only talking about the feds, and for some reason it goes into Trump and everything else. But if we're talking about the feds, the DOJ, and the indictments and whatnot they put out, you're saying someone is being kidnapped because they arrested that person. And then, and I'm only asking about the part of it of when do you get to arrest the person, because you're elevating that person's status by saying, well, he's the president, so he shouldn't be arrested. He shouldn't be touched. He's in international waters. He's somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So are you saying that someone should be in Venezuela, untouchable, dealing drugs that end up in the United States?
Yeah, that happens all the time. Like that's what I'm saying. I just don't get my thing with y'all is y'all justify this when it's illegal. It's America's event. No, I know.
It's illegal.
So that's what I'm saying. Why are we just mad at y'all keep missing? Nobody defending these niggas.
Mad.
I'm trying to figure out
nobody's defending Maduro, correct.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why y'all ignoring that we pointing out Maduro is only in position because America helped him. The cartels y'all saying was in position that America literally could have said, we run, because think about it, the America is literally giving the cartels money. They literally could have said, stop fucking with him or we're not going to give y'all money. No, they allowed it to happen.
KT,
this is not a theory.
It is though.
So the cartels are backed by the government is theory?
KT, let me get over here a little bit. Let me just say my point. So
it's okay. Why y'all trying to save them? Why y'all trying to stop them?
I'm not trying to save nobody. I'm just saying. Let me.
What I'm saying is that the same way how you was able to have the conversation back and forth with AR, allow GOAT and fake GOAT have they quick back and forth.
Okay, can I defend Diddy afterwards?
Go ahead, KT. What you saying, bro? Because like I said, like, bro, this is cap. This is crazy.
Yeah, like I said, so am I lying? Just tell me if I'm right or wrong. Yes or no, everybody. Do we know for facts the U.S. government helped fund the cartels? Yes or no?
Well, here's the problem, bro. You want to introduce every
yes or no? It's not introduce no conspiracy. We know these things are facts.
I don't want to answer that way, so I'll respond the way I want to. You're introducing every other conspiracy while diminishing the one that's on the table. I just don't understand how y'all can diminish the conspiracy.
So you're not going to answer the question. Because I'm not talking conspiracy. It's factual that the government works with them motherfuckers. It's facts that the government has allowed drugs into our country. That's not a conspiracy. Conspiracy is when something isn't true. It's something that you're saying, I think this is what it is, but you don't really have no proof.
That is not the definition of conspiracy.
That's not what a conspiracy is.
This is sad.
Hold on.
This is fucking sad.
This is crazy. That is not the definition of conspiracy. It doesn't. It could be 100% true, and it could still be a conspiracy. It means to conspire.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because that's what I just want to be understood. They're just laying out a conspiracy that he was doing what he was doing. In order to defend Maduro, y'all are laying out your own conspiracies. Y'all don't understand that?
So you got to understand where I'm coming from with this. If Maduro is guilty of all these things, right, he should be, whatever extent of the law extends to somebody doing those crimes should be extended to him, whatever punishments, whatever it is, right? But it's the same thing we're talking about with due process. So I guess my thing is, if I were to ask a question of the panel, what about what Trump and the Trump administration going down to Venezuela and getting Maduro? What part of that was actually legal? Point to the legal statute that allowed that to be the way to process that.
Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 1, 2, and 3.
Which is?
It explains how the indictment works, how the information works, and then how the arrest must be upheld. The arrest by legal definition was valid. Nope. Hold on. The arrest by legal definition was valid because it was based on a sealed indictment.
Right. Going into a sovereign country and taking a political leader out of that. What does that require?
He wasn't a political leader by literal definition.
So that would require the International Criminal Court.
Right.
ICC, and it also will require Congress too, right?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what they should have done is they should have taken it to NATO.
The War Powers Act allows the president to act.
They don't have to take it. Hey, fam, they can drop.
Which is why that's why quantifying some of these drugs as weapons of mass destruction, and then pinning that on a certain leader.
Well, we can't keep adding that into the business of Venezuela.
You cannot. Something AR just said. AR said the War Powers Act allows the president to act without Congress and stuff, but there's an important distinction here. If you notice, the State Department keeps saying that this was not an act of war. The reason Maduro said he didn't want to. Yeah, the reason he said he didn't want to do the bail is because if he takes or applies for the bail, then it shows that he's complying with the process that's happening.
The War Power Act does not mean that there has to be a declaration of war at any point in time. The War Powers Act just allows the president to initiate military conflict with the country, has to alert Congress of the fact, and Congress gets to decide whether that was a valid reason or not, and then he has a certain amount of time to withdraw military assets from the area or stop the conflict. So it doesn't have anything to do with the declaration of war.
Yeah, the War Powers Act for Congress to declare war. What you're talking about is like in Iraq, where George Bush engaged in the military.
Okay, hold on. Before we confuse everything, so we already answered. So no, he did not need Congress, right? Everybody, Mr. Work, you even agreed with that, correct?
Yeah, he doesn't need Congress.
Okay, so let's just deal with that. He didn't need Congress.
But just to the point, they notified Congress. Keep in mind that was the conversation about drug cartels and the non-international armed conflict that they have with drug cartels, which gave them the unilateral power to go after them. All of that matters.
Just real quick, Detroit. I know you were asking the question about the arresting and the legality of it or whatnot. I know Hitchens, he didn't agree with WMDs in Iraq, but he did agree with going after Saddam for various reasons, such as the gas and the Kurds. That was one of his. He stood with the Kurds pretty heavily and thought they should have their own country and whatnot. So that was one of the reasons he agreed with the invasion. Although we're not in a hot conflict with China, do you believe we're at war with China? Okay, do you think that Venezuela is an ally of China, or do you think they're an adversary against us that would work with or has been working with China and Russia as well? Russia is obviously, we're in a Cold War with Russia, multiple proxy wars with Russia as well. You're muted.
You muted.
That's the best we ever heard of him. Golly.
Yeah. What are you saying, Detroit?
Yeah, I would hold on. I'm sorry, I was muted and I had to answer and then I answered. Okay. So if we're talking about just how to answer, just yes. I don't think that's good if China and right. But once again, and I hate to put these buts in here because Jerome told me what those mean. I guess my thing is the fact that knowing that, wouldn't diplomacy with Venezuela keep China and Russia out of Venezuela?
They're maybe in the past, but obviously not now. The question was about the sovereignty and the legality of us going in there. 40% of Venezuelans have fled the country since 2013, 2014. They voted him out and he refused to leave. And he's working with a country we were at war with. He's pretty much an ally with the country we were at war with. China had just sent a delegation on Friday to meet with him. So we don't know if they were there during the time of this or not. There are rumors that Russian special forces were there and tried to stop us from enacting what we were doing, and were met by the whatever bodyguards and got into a shootout with them. That's just rumors, though. So I guess with all that all together, he's working with a country that you agree we're at war with. The people voted him out, and he refused to leave. How does he still have sovereignty as a leader? How does he still have the legality? Like, what are the legal ramifications? Why does he have the legal right to stay in power?
As far as in their country, he shouldn't, right? As far as the international community, what is their responsibility in something like that?
And we are part
like you were saying, that should have been something that goes to the ICP, right? I mean, ICC, right?
I never said that. I don't even think the U.S. is a signature of the ICC.
Can I ask really quickly, AR? So you saying if somebody works against our interests, like with Russia and China, we shouldn't be with them, right? And matter of fact, we should take our actions to stop them from doing it, even if that means like going into their country and removing the quote unquote leader.
Well, I think.
More or less.
Well, here go Edom, man, about to speak for me.
So I just got to say,
whatever.
We support Israel.
I think he was asking me.
Talking. I told you I triggered him for some
reason. We support Israel. I ain't even said that
he get triggered.
Because I know the inner heathen that's about to come out there, bro. I know the inner heathen, bro. I know it. It's a man who claims he a feminist, but then definitely supports a guy that want to grab all of our women in the pussy. Go ahead, though.
Let's KTT, you're answering your question real quick before either man starts.
And listen, before you even answer it, can I just throw in? I'm only bringing this up because this is my main argument. What makes it right when all of a sudden America says like, nah, we justify here because we fuck with Israel, we support them, we're literally the reason they have the Iron Dome and all that, and then they do the same shit. So I'm saying, like, why is it only okay when America says it's okay?
Okay, so
you might kill him with that. You might kill him with the Israel argument, bro.
I don't even understand.
Where's all this? Where is all this for the people of Gaza?
Go down that line.
The
people of Gaza are elected a terrorist
organization. China and Russia
should happen to them. Anyway,
listen,
it doesn't matter.
China and Russia. China and Russia have economic trade with
I'm answering your
Israel.
question. You can.
And BB's
an economic trade deal is different than economic trade deal is different than supplying terrorist organizations to attack U.S. troops or work against U.S. interests, but it's irrelevant.
No, but even NATO has BB as a
shut the fuck up.
I'm giving you the similarity.
I don't need it. I'm answering your question. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant, KT. I don't give a fuck.
I know. God damn. You want to push. I know.
Each
you
country,
don't make sense. You can't have a conversation, sir.
It's hard to have a conversation with a retard.
Well, stop talking.
Each country.
You can't talk to yourself, my brother.
Behavior, bro.
Okay, it's nuanced. Each country. I'm not supposed to be on good behavior.
He can't be.
I don't know who told you I was supposed to be on good behavior. I'm never on good behavior. Depending on the country is nuanced. So, like, if it's Cuba, Venezuela, right in our backyard, they station troops, Chinese troops, and give them bases and all this stuff, gives them a launching pad. That's a big difference than if China gets a base in, for example, Djibouti, which hosts Russia, China, and the U.S. bases. It's a big difference. Djibouti can't really impact us. It can impact the region a little bit, can't impact mainland. So there's a difference between the countries and what they're doing and how our reaction should be. I think the time for soft power has been the past 20 years or so. I think that at this point we're running out of time with the soft power. It's quite obvious we're at war. The odds of us being in a hot conflict with China increases every single day. This has increased it, I think, it's debatable whether it's increased it, but obviously they're probably going to be emboldened about going into Taiwan. Obviously Japan finds them going into Taiwan an existential threat. Australia is getting nuclear submarines to counter China. Philippines don't rock with China. They used to when Trump was either when Trump had his first term or right before that. Then China messed with them, tried to bully them or whatever. And now Philippines have moved back strongly into our sphere of influence. Vietnam is having issues with China. India obviously has issues with China. So it's not just us. And it's obviously China has certain things that they want to do. We're at war with them. They're allies next to us. If we can work through diplomatic channels, sure, maybe we should do that. If it's no use, then there's other methods that need to be taken. And I'm of the mind that it might be necessary to do it prior to a hot conflict with China than before.
But I don't think you really answer my question because I'm just asking like what makes this like right? Like I'm talking about actually right because Taiwan been getting bullied by China for a good minute. They're our ally, right?
No, not officially.
Taiwan isn't officially our no. We're allies.
Taiwan's not even recognized as a country.
Yeah, they're not a country.
The reason that they are.
Another country.
I'm saying, but we still support them.
Yeah, we supply them. We supply them with weapons.
No, I'm saying they're like, even if we want to say they don't technically, we're their allies, just like fucking what's his name, Ukraine and shit. You know what I'm saying? We're their fucking allies. Like that's all I'm saying. These are people we're supposed to be pointing because that is in our strategic positioning. Because we also have military bases in Taiwan. So that's all I'm saying.
No, we don't. We don't have military bases.
Not in Taiwan. You're right, Korea.
Y'all no longer talking about.
But I'm just pointing out these are our allies. No, cocaine. Everyone has drugs, bro. That's my point. I'm confused. Why we can say Venezuela. I'm mad at Venezuela for the drugs. I'm not as mad at the government who let the drugs come through from Venezuela. That's all I'm pointing out. Like they all bullshit. That's one thing I need y'all to understand. They all terrible. They all terrible, but
have a conversation with because you keep using the word mad. This is not anger. There's no emotion tied to it. This is just a discussion about politics and what is and isn't legitimate, and you're not making a good argument. You just keep throwing all these emotional rants out there, fam. Like it's weird.
There's no emotion. I've given proof. I'm even talking about how we can prove things. Like I'm not talking about whether or not the fucking government did or didn't supply the cartels. We know they did. We know they helped things. That's not emotional.
So with that, can't we prove also with that same logic that Maduro was moving these bricks, bro? Can we prove that then?
No, what we can prove with for sure is Maduro was working with the government.
Fam,
wait,
fam, just a simple yes or no. Are you saying yes or no?
No, because we can't. They could say right now Maduro had 50,000 bricks in this period of 1999 to 2000 and whatever. I don't know that. What I know we can prove for facts is he was literally working with the U.S. government before he ever got arrested.
Okay, so working with the U.S. government doing what?
Working with them.
Doing what?
I don't know what you're doing for real, but you're working with them, and that's documented. You're working with them.
Do you understand how difficult this is in terms of like a legitimate conversation? Because you don't know what you're talking about, but I do. You just said
so
you don't.
So were they not working with them or not?
That was
they working with them or not?
Your response to what I'm saying is I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, my response is I'm not going to accept what they say it's about. I'm going to accept what factually is there. So working with them, that's factually there. What he was doing with them, that's up for interpretation. Okay, did he sell drugs? For sure. Did he have 100,000 bricks in that period? I don't know because they're not even giving us the shit to show this how they came to 100,000 keys.
Facts.
Well, they just arrested him a day ago. You expect the discovery to be out today?
Well, you've been collecting evidence since '99. Yeah.
Right. So
you can't release the first decade of proof.
Right. So with that, I can lay out the first decade of proof. I gave you a part of it, right?
No, that the government gave. Like the government actually presented the evidence on this, besides them saying it and you accepting it. That's all I'm pointing out.
But there's a case and it's an indictment and other things can be dropped on top of this as well. So what you saying?
Like I pointed out earlier, Uda, we from America and we're
okay, hold on, KT, hold on, KT, hold on. So anything that the US government put out there, you just don't believe unless you've seen it.
No, I'm saying I can accept what some things are being said, but things that I would like proof sometimes for sure. Like something need proof too.
Hold on, no, but the problem is you're not accepting the proof. You're saying the proof is not
lied about fentanyl. They just lied about fentanyl. They framed it as fentanyl.
Who lied about it? The
Trump
media?
already said on the news too. It was literally fake.
Hold on, please, y'all. And the issue is that we are saying that it is proof that he was selling drugs, and your argument is that he was working with the U.S. government, and you don't care what capacity of working with the government, even though he's a government official, it matters. So the reason why it does matter, because if he's working with us to fix hunger, but on the back end he is slipping drugs to it because he was sending clothes, that is a problem. Yes, he was working with the government to put clothes on people's back, but also he brought in 10,000 bricks with those clothes. That is a problem. So while he's working with the government, for example, since you don't have no understanding of what working for the government even means, why are we trying to give this man excuses and act as if he wasn't selling drugs in this country?
You just be saying anything sometimes. Because I don't know how you could ever get that. I don't understand what working with the government mean. I think you don't. I'm saying if you're snitching for the government, if you're actually an FBI agent, these are all forms of working for the government. Now, what they said you're doing, I'm not going to accept that, because how many times, like, I don't understand how niggas can do something called, like, literally the definition of insanity is they expect to do the same thing, expect a different outcome. So we have seen plenty of times the government said, this is why we're doing this. 10 years later, that is not why the fuck they were doing that. I don't know why all of a sudden today, with Trump of all people, we're now like, nah, let's take them at that word, and it's for my benefit. What are we doing?
The reason why is because he was actually selling the drugs before Trump was there.
Yeah, that's right.
And when Trump was there, right?
No, but you're negating the fact that he was doing it while Bush was there. He was doing it while Obama was there. He was doing it while Joe Biden was there.
No, so I pointed out to y'all earlier, all of them is together.
What's the problem?
Because y'all keep, I see what all y'all keep doing. Y'all want to make somebody Democrat or Republican. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to talk about, hold on, please. I'm talking about your argument. Your argument
is definitely not. You can't tell me my argument. I'm trying to tell you, and you trying to say this is what you really mean. When I'm saying very clearly what the argument is.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Democrats, because I said this already earlier. Democrats and Republicans work together.
I'm telling you that I don't understand your argument, because the reason why I don't understand your argument, because you blaming it on Trump.
I didn't blame it on Trump. What the fuck are you talking about?
This man been selling drugs since the 90s. So therefore, it's a long track record of him proving. So far, we got evidence, and now we got to wait for the evidence to come out to say if we believe it or not. However, it's a track record behind this man for a very long time. And you're telling us to not look at it as evidence because the government is corrupt.
No, again, you really just, I think you got a comprehension problem. I clearly said that if they say he sold 100,000 bricks, right? I'm not accepting that he sold 100,000 bricks just because they said it. Now, did he sell drugs? Yeah, we know that. I'm saying you can show us the proof with these claims you're about to make.
How do you know he sold drugs?
If they were dealing with bricks, how much bricks do you think they really sold, bro? Come on, bro.
I don't care. I'm just saying, like, anybody could say anything. I'm not going to accept that. Just like
doesn't matter.
You can walk up to me right now and say I got $7 million.
All right, so hold on.
Bricks is still breaking.
Hold on. So let me get the argument. You saying, so instead of it being 100,000 bricks, if he sold 80,000 bricks, you like, see, this is what I'm talking about. The government.
No, nigga, he sold drugs. Period. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you sold 100,000 or 50,000. I'm just saying y'all really literally repeating exactly what was told to y'all.
All right, so if we are on the fact that selling drugs in America is illegal, why shouldn't he be arrested?
I never said he shouldn't. I'm saying he shouldn't in terms of him. He's not a resident of our fucking country. How can you persecute somebody under American law, hasn't came to America, and you saying because third party, we didn't call people over here? Again, I'm confused because y'all defending on why he should have been free.
The reason why is because he is selling drugs in our nation.
To be clear,
so we going to war with Afghanistan next? Because they under the
why are you talking
shit.
about again? Just stay on to the points that we are talking about. Stop trying to add other things.
Because I keep saying what makes y'all say this is justified, but all the other times are not.
Hold on. I don't understand why you're saying because somebody else do it means it's okay for him to do it. Again, if he is selling drugs over here, that is the reason why we went to get him from up yonder.
Yeah, it's a lot of dog food out here. That's coming from poppy fields and Afghans. So I'm saying, I'm asking y'all different places because I'm saying, what makes y'all say we only got to police these niggas because the benefit of us or something?
Can I answer that though? Just for kids, please. Like it sounds great, but I think he forgets that the United States went over there 25 years ago, right? You said Afghanistan? They went over there 25 years ago. They were openly guarding poppy fields. What are we talking about?
Not only that, we went and got Noriega ass too, right? So this ain't the first time we went to another country.
Noriega turned himself in.
KT seems to not understand what extradition is because he said, how can we charge someone that never set foot in the U.S.? That's what an extradition treaty is. There's plenty of people. This is really very popular, or whatever the word is I'm looking for, and the hacking community, because there's a lot of hackers in Russia, Iran, China, etc., that do things. And because they're in another country, we can't necessarily go get them, and we don't have extradition treaties with them. So
hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second.
You're wrong about that.
Yeah, it's me, man.
You don't have an extradition treaty with Venezuela.
Hold on one second, y'all. I'm
Both
trying to
countries
ask
have to
somebody.
sign.
Hold on, please. I don't know. How you doing, Joe Cool? This is my first time seeing you.
I think it's my first time over here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well, Joe Cool.
All right.
This your first time seeing the show, or you've been watching it?
No, I know you. I've been on other panels with you, and I've seen your show. I don't think I've ever been on your panel, though.
What
you see me at Sarah's. I'm Joe Cool from Sarah's.
Okay, the Raging Tomato.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. All right, go ahead. Hey, y'all, finish your thought.
Yeah, I was just saying that it's not unheard of for people to be charged in a country that they never set foot in if they've been extradited there. Obviously, with Venezuela, the president's not going to extradite himself, and he was voted out, so he couldn't be extradited by another person. If we do have a treaty, I'm not sure if we have a treaty with Venezuela. At some point, the law, he's not following the law, and you expect other people to follow the law, and he's working with our adversaries in a country that we're at war with, and I just don't rock that. I just don't rock with that.
So I can accept that. Yeah. I can accept that. I think y'all really just trying to do a lot of explanation it not admit the fact that y'all just saying if it benefits me, I don't care. I'm gonna support it, which is cool. But again, I'm talking about facts because listen, I brought up the dude from Israel.
Again, but you're not talking about the case. Talk about the case. No, hold on. The problem is that y'all keep throwing all these other things into the conversation when each situation is its own situation. And they got to be handled delicately. So we cannot keep throwing, what about this person? What about that? How about when they did it in 2000 and this and that person? And how about when, everything is nuanced. We don't know who's telling on who. Everything is nuanced. That's why we got to stick to the topic and stop throwing all these other things against the wall. It is not, and that is not how you substantiate a argument by saying somebody else did it. And my kid comes in and says, oh, but guess what? You didn't let her do it. That's not an excuse for my kid to do something. And it is what you. I'm trying to get you.
Because y'all saying we justified because we supposed to do anything that harm our interest.
I'm trying to get you to understand. If my kid says, "But you let the other kid do it," it's not an excuse for that kid to do it. So stop using that. It's a dumb argument.
No, nigga, stop saying that we should stop something if it's not in our interest, and then say, "Well, this
has been the way since the United States formed. When we got, Louisiana and the Western territories and all that good stuff from France, Thomas Jefferson and the administration was more or less like, this is an existential threat. We find this to be an existential threat. Everything west of here is eventually going to be ours. If it's not, it's an existential threat for our country." And more or less said we will go to war. He signaled it. He didn't actually specifically say, but he signaled we are willing to go to war over this land. And that's how we got the Louisiana territories. Thomas Jefferson was like president, 10 years after the country was formed in like 1800, whatever he was president. 1801, I think, was when he got sworn in or whatever. So, this is nothing new. This is national security concerns have been the bedrock of